Watch what's approaching, the supreme moment. Reality striking closer than it seems, don't it? Go ahead, it's for the taking if you want it. If not, the dream dies and you'll be forever haunted. Then confront it.
What's good? So this one has been put on the back burner a little bit, but I did want to test out the ability to stack this guy's defense because built into the super attack ability, he greatly raises defense, and of course within the 99 turn limit you're able to stack defense to a pretty ridiculous degree. So for this video, let's test out how high we can actually get that defense level. Again, this is going to be on the Rose Dokkan event stage 1. This is pretty much where Zamasu has, for the most part, infinite ability to recover HP and maintain a high enough level to where you can't easily KO the unit. So this is kind of like my go-to place to test this kind of stuff out. And I did keep a track of the total turns that have passed. Of course, we're going to start off with the earlier ones, you know, turn 2 and 4, just to see what the starting off defensive stats are. And then later on, you'll see what the overall defensive stat abilities are later on as well. So for those, I mean, I'm sure everybody's pretty much aware of the skill sets for this unit, but we'll go ahead and cover it just in case. Again, this guy is personally one of my favorite units. I actually really love this unit, and I do want to add this version of the Transforming Goku Black is 1 dupe, so 69% potential. In terms of the super attack, again, it greatly raises defense and causes immense damage to enemy. Passive skill is pretty nice as well. Attack increase of 40% at the start of each turn, up to 120%. And then chance of performing a critical hit plus 5% with each attack received, up to 40%. And then transformation is basically when HP is 80% or above, starting from the 6th turn from the start of battle. It does take a little bit of time to get this guy transformed, but honestly it's not too bad. Now, with the transformation taking place, he still does maintain the ability to greatly raise defense on top of causing immense damage to the enemy as part of the super attack. The passive skill does change a little bit, attack increase of 150%, and chance of performing a critical hit plus 50%. Extreme type allies get ki plus 3. Again, because we are testing the defensive abilities of this unit, I did pair him up with the Strength Rose for the most part, because Rose also does provide a defensive boost of 50% to extreme type allies on top of a ki boost, so it does help out a lot. So that's kind of like the standard approach in terms of getting this guy's defensive stats as high as possible. Now, you do see a lot of units that also do have the ability to stack attack and defense, like Vegito Blue and Transforming Trunks. So I did include units like that as well, just to give you some color on those units. And honestly, it helps out a lot with the HP recovery, because item consumption, you're limited to, bringing only 4 types, maximum of using it 2 times. But because the HP recovery levels are quite ridiculous when you get the defensive stats up there, it actually helps out in terms of conservation of item consumption. So that's pretty much one of the reasons I included some of the units on here. Now, I did include Strength Vegito Blue instead of the Tech Vegito Blue, because Tech version can actually KO Zamasu pretty easily once he gets his attack stats up there, because again, that guy does have built-in additional attacks for a potential super, so those stats can get quite up there, and you're pretty much risking Zamasu getting killed. So with that being said, I kind of left him out and put in the strength version instead. So it looks like about total 20 turns at this point. Defense is pretty decent. I didn't, I kind of missed the number just a second ago, but we'll go back to the next set of total turns and see what the defensive stats look like. I think 20 turns, that's kind of like maintainable in terms of probably like the Infinite Dragon Ball history event, stuff like that, but outside of that, you're getting close to the realms of outside of the norm, I guess, in a way. So I think last time I checked, 28 turns was about 360k in defensive stats, so certainly getting up there, and we'll definitely shoot for as high of a number as we can. We're kind of going for 1 million defensive stats. For those that missed it, I did test the LR Super Saiyan 2 Gohan unit, and he was actually able to get his defensive stats up to like 2 million, so that's very high. One of the things about this guy, again, it is only one dude path unlocked, which is the bottom right path, so at 100% potential, you could certainly get more potential levels toward additional attack, and that, will give you an increased chance of stacking the defense even more with, additional super attacks. You're basically potentially doubling the effect every rotation, so in that regard, yeah, it's much better. But I wanted to test out how the one dude version is. I mean, you're already seeing within 40 turns about 458,000 defensive stats. So at this point, I mean, it's very little damage taken, and yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. Now, I wish there was a different type of event where you could actually choose like the type settings and enemy settings and stuff like that, but this still works out pretty well testing it out on this event. I do get comments here and there about the testing it out on the Super Saiyan Broly event, but the reason why I prefer this one over that one is because Broly has such a good defense. You don't really see a realistic damage output on top of the attack stats for when you're testing Kaioken mechanics or stack effects on the attack stats output. So that's pretty much why my preference has always been on this event versus that one. Looks like about total of 50 turns so far, so it's about halfway there on the 99 turn limit restriction on stacking abilities. I do have to say, I really love the super attack animation with the transforming Goku Black. It's probably one of my favorites, and even with all the new super attack animations revamped and coming out since the release, I personally still love this one a lot, and it looks really clean to me. It's visually nice looking. All right, what is that? About 820,000, I think, in defensive stats. That's about 60 turns in. So, yeah, we're quickly approaching 1 million, and one of the reasons I love this unit is really it does come down to the fact that the ability to stack defense for tougher, longer battles, it definitely does make a difference. So in events like the Legendary Goku Battle event or even the Infinite Dragon Ball History event, these types of units do extremely well because they're built for stuff like that. So the Future Saga category used to be one of my least favorite when it first came out, but it's quickly become one of my favorites. I think it's easily within top 5 categories for me. I really love that category right now. I will say that Movie Bosses is still my favorite. Wicked Bloodlines is also up there too, but Future Saga is also very good. I think the release of transforming Trunks really made a difference and improvement to that category. So, that's pretty much where things are with that, in my opinion. So it looks like we were able to surpass the 1 million defensive mark, and we'll kind of put them in locations where potential supers are coming, and you'll see how little in damage you can actually take at this point. But again, 72 turns, that's outside the realms of realism. That's pretty much no battle will exist where you're going a full 72 turns. So, it is what it is, but it's always nice to be able to test it and see how units perform in terms of, stacking their abilities. Greatly raised defense. There's not that many units that have that ability, in my opinion. There are a few, but not that many. I think there's actually more that have the ability to greatly raise attack versus greatly raise defense. And as far as anything's concerned, I think the Burai unit is the only one that massively raises attack in the game. And I've tested her out in the past. It's been a while, but I remember seeing her attack stats get up to like 6 million or something ridiculous like that. Imagine a unit like that with that kind of output power. It's pretty crazy. So this is going to be turn number 80, looks like, and pretty much at this point we're getting to a level of well over 1 million, and pretty much you're taking very little in damage. At this point you could pretty much tank anything, like any of those ultimate attacks, like Spirit Bomb Goku and whatever. Like, he could easily probably tank those attacks right now at this level. The problem with those is you can't stack the defense much before you get to that battle. Like I tested it with the LR Super Saiyan 2 Gohan unit, see if it could actually survive the Spirit Bomb Goku attack, but unfortunately in those settings you can't really get the defensive stats as high enough to actually test it out. That's the problem with that one. So 94 turns, pretty much 5 turns remain at this point until the restriction applies that you can only stack until 99 turns. After that, it's irrelevant. Like, you won't be able to stack anymore. So that's it's infinite, but it has limitations to it. I do like this rotation a lot with the Strength Rose transforming Goku Black and LR Goku Black. I mean, it's really nice. Okay, so 96 turns. I think this is the last recording that I tested it with, and I did make sure to keep track of the total turns. I think you guys prefer to have that included on here just to give it perspective as to how far things went and how long it took to get to a certain level. So we'll see how things are with the total turns of 96 passed, and what his defensive abilities are. So again, I just wanted to run a test on this guy because he does have the ability to greatly raise defense. So as always, hopefully you guys enjoy the video. I do tend to love doing these types of testing videos and content, and it seems like you guys enjoy it too. So as always, hopefully you guys enjoyed watching, and definitely stay tuned for the next one. Alright, I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.